Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Naked Audio Tutorial. I'm Yong from SG Audio Hive. Okay, I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. Okay, basically what we want to do is a preparation for learning to do DIY cables, DIY mods. Yeah, so we are going to cover a lot of basics. Okay, so one of the items that is very important for DIY work is bulb tester. Okay, so basically this is powered by battery, and we have okay, I can't close it. Okay, and we have a LED right here, so you can switch it on and off. Okay, so basically what it does is that when there's contact, okay, it lights up. Okay, so the uses for this is basically when we have a wire that we doesn't know. Okay, right now this is labeled, but if we do not know the polarity or the wire leads, which one goes to where, we can actually test it out. So I can clamp the connector and we will test the wire. So I just push the contact into the wire, so whichever is the correct contact will light up. As you can see, whichever is correct will light up, the rest will not. And it's good to test for short circuit also, because if you have short circuit, you can immediately test it. So after a round of cable building, we usually clamp the pin and we just test for short circuit. So there's light right now, and when there's no short circuit, it will be fine. So we'll test every individual pins for short circuit. Okay, so this is one of the most important item that we use, tool, I can call it a tool, that we use for DIY work. Basically, we are using very cheap items. The components are actually just very little. You can use crocodile clips, or you can just use two open-ended prongs. Whichever works for you, just do it. And these are not difficult to find. Battery covers, you can get them at hardware shops everywhere. LED, you can buy them in reels and they are very cheap. The wiring itself is I can show you the stock wiring. This is what it looks like. This is the stock wiring, and this because of vanity lah, I just want it to look nice. Okay, so we can see we have a bigger battery casing with a power, so we can put more batteries in it. We have open ones. These are cheaper. You can take a look. The pricing, they are very cheap. This is 80 cents Sing dollars. So they are like 50 cents US. And this is $1.50. This one is probably $1.20. I don't remember. Crocodile clips are very cheap also. 160. They are come in a packs of 4. Okay, so for today's mod, I'll just show you the... Oh yeah, one more component that is important is light bulb. Okay, because I'll be using LED strips. These are not expensive. They are like $1 plus for 3 meters maybe, not too sure. And you can use light bulbs if you want. These are like 80 cents. Okay, to start off this project, we will just take a look at the component. This is the most important part. I mean, this is the battery holder. Okay, on the inside, it's just basically you install your battery. And these two leads together, they will complete the circuit. Okay, so by right, what we want to do is to install the lighting. And if you just close them up like this, like you simply close it up, it will just stay on, the light will stay on all the way until you turn off the battery pack. Okay, so we do not want that. We actually want to break the circuit to add in, to break it into this. Okay, so basically we have to modify the inside also. So let us take a look at the battery casing. So we can notice that there is a plastic covering here. This is an extra piece of plastic. right here, they can be opened up. Well, they should not be, but for this mod we do not require this casing anymore. And we can see there is a sort of a switch situation, because this is because of the power switch right here. But if you are using a battery pack without the switch, you can ignore this entirely. This right here is just to break the circuit between the plus and the minus, so that you can add a switch outside. I'll just show you. And so this is the one battery pack without the switch, and it's so simple. We can take a look. It's just the leads being soldered onto the contacts right here. So we can skip all this step if you're using a basic. Okay, I'll just put the diagram right here for a few seconds. You can pause it to take a look. But we are going to build the battery casing into my favorite fabric ones. You do not have to change out the wire. You can just do it using basic methods, but I'm going to do okay, that's all there is to it. Just desolder the thing. Okay, secondly, I want to expand the hole. So I'll just use a Dremel. You can also burn it through with your soldering iron if you want. Okay, so we want to solder 2 of the wire. I mean, for this situation, I'm using a 4-wire setup so that I can have nice colors. They actually last longer with 4-wire. The problem with the stock wire is that they break so easily. And I got sick of repairing them multiple times. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'll strip this. And we'll twist the wire together. They have been stripped off their insulation already, and I will thin the wire. So by thinning, okay, I repeat this every video, but it's necessary. It's just basically applying a layer of solder onto the exposed wire. So we have a block of solder. Yeah, I don't dare to use my hand. Okay, so we'll rest the solder on top of the wire and let it melt through the enamel coating. It takes a while, but it will be done in just a bit. Okay. Okay, you can see this shiny part is the tin. We call it a tin on the enamel coated wire. If you are using a wire without enamel coating, you do not need to burn it for as long or use a higher temperature. Right now I'm using 400. Okay, we'll do the same for the other side. Okay, next we are going to prepare the LED. Okay, we just need 3 of this. There are sticky tape on the back, but I'm going to use super glue to glue it down. The tape doesn't really hold very well. Okay, these can be cut and joined. These are LEDs that they are designed in this fashion. Okay, so you solder one part of the LED first. Okay, basically the copper pads here are the soldering points. So we have positive, negative. It doesn't really matter much right here, except that you need to solder the positive terminal of the battery into the positive of the LED. So we can take a look. The positive is this one. So this lead right here has to go direct to the plus here. Okay, you notice I haven't cut the length of this joint wire because we do not know how much length we actually need yet. So I'll just solder it to the terminal directly right now. Okay. I am going to install this. So whatever sticky tape is left, I'll just let it sit. And this is the length that we want. So I'm going to cut this length and we'll thin it on the outside too. Okay, once we got the length correct, I'll solder it down. Okay, right now it doesn't really stick well because this is a recycled piece. I'll just use something to hold it down first while I install the wire. Then I will directly be gluing it with super glue, CA glue. We'll just let it dry and we can proceed to the next part, which is preparing the other wires. The glue has set quite a bit now. We are going to solder on the wire. So the negative terminal on the LED, right here, this one, we'll solder it down. Trim down the wire so that only a small bit of the wire is left. And we'll do the same thing. We'll go in. Okay, if you have trouble, just use tweezers. Okay, and we'll solder it down. Okay, the first part of the soldering portion is done. The next thing we are going to solder is the leads and the crocodile clip. Okay, so these are the 4 colors I've chosen. So we just cut the length that we need to sleeve them up. Okay, we have to remove the center core. So just push out the core. Okay, and sleeving them in. Okay, one tricky part of this is to get the sleeving into the casing itself. Just use tweezer and pack it in. Okay, this has been frayed quite badly. If you don't want this kind of fraying, just burn up the sleeving before you install it. Okay, now for the black sleeve. The small fraying part, you can just burn it off on the outside. For the inside, we will actually glue it. You can use any assortment of glue This one is not, we are not doing a strict or presentable project. This is just a DIY tools project. Okay, so that being said, I'll be using super glue. Don't pour too much, the fabric will actually absorb and spread the glue. As you can see, it's spreaded to the outside a bit, so it's going to be stiff. Okay, for this part, we are going to cover up with a heat shrink. Right here, we are going to cover it up with a heat shrink. Okay, so any shrink, any size will do. I mean, reasonable size, something that fits. Okay, remember the coloring, because this is where we are going to split them and install the crocodile clip. We will glue down this part because it will always pull up the LED, so we have to glue it down. That's for later. Right now we are going to do the braiding. Okay, this is not the best angle to do braiding on. You do not want to braid too much because as we can see, this thing has to split, and sometimes you want to test things that are far apart. So a good length is about, okay, because this is a shorter portable version, I'll just do about, I'll have 10 centimeters, so that when it's spread out, it's about 20 centimeters. Okay, we can do a few more passes. Okay, I have 10 centimeters right here. So these two colors, they are together. You twist them up for the split. I really want to install a wide split there, but it's a waste of material. Okay, let me just show you something. We can just melt it and press it together and they will stick. Okay. The same for here. At this point, it doesn't matter which color is using the crocodile clip, which color is using the leads. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter. We'll prepare more heat shrinks. So 2 centimeters should be good enough. And we'll install the heat shrink inside first so that we can pull it out later. Okay, one trick to remove the excess fabric, you can always just slowly cut around it. There is one trick that is not very advisable to do if you don't know what you're doing, is to actually melt it. When it's melted enough, you can actually pull it out. So something like this. We'll be twisting the wire together again, and we'll be thinning them like before. Okay, same for here. Okay, also, there is another method to unmelt this. To remove this. Is to actually melt it like just now, and once it hardens already, you can strip it like a wire, because it's no longer fabric, it becomes solid. Okay, so for this part we will also twist them together. You can cut off all this excess stuff, or you can just burn them away. Right now we are going to solder. We're going to thin the wire like just now. You do not need to install any leads, you can just use this as is once it's thinned up already. So the leads thing is just look nice, or you can install 2 crocodile clips, whatever is works for you. Okay, so I'll be using crocodile clips for, it doesn't really matter which side. So there are clamps on the clips also. So it's all the same process. You have to thin up the crocodile clip before you solder. So we will just feed solder into the clamp. And I will just solder the wire onto it. Okay, this part always gets me. It is actually very hot right now, so don't handle it with your bare hands yet. Okay, so right now we want to use a plier to clamp down on the soldering joint, and to top it off, just install the heat shrink and burn. Okay, so you have one part done. The next piece, you can just leave it as is, because this one still conducts electricity. I love to use these are 0.75 or 0.78 pins. All these are ancient. We don't really find this anywhere. But basically, this is DIY IEM 2-pin, the raw material for that. So I really love to use this because they are very conductive. So we'll fit the solder, thin it up, install the wire. Okay, so same thing, this is going to be very hot. We will also just use heat shrink. Yeah, it's very hot. Use heat shrink to shrink it up. And there you have it. This is a full circle. Get some batteries. See? Lights up. Okay, with this being done, basically the project is done. I'll just be doing some coloring. We're adding colors to the shell, and that's it.